Welcome to Mr. Giant Reacts to Ting and Ting and Ting. And we're going to look at this video here, and it's called Why Romanian Traditions Are So Weird. I don't know why it's named that. I'm going to have to check it out because, some of the traditions in my country, you may seem to think it's weird too, but I'm interested to see what it is because I see some costumes and some stuff going on here. So stick around. Let's watch the whole thing and see what we could see on here. Is it similar to what you have in your country? Comment down below. If there's any misconceptions that is shown here, comment down below. That one is for my Romanian people. Let's YouTube and simmer, see what go on.
Traditions are a crucial part of every culture. They remind us that we have a past which shaped who we are today. They give us a sense of belonging, and they give us the opportunity to celebrate the most important events of our lives in a meaningful way. But oftentimes the traditions of our cultures might seem a bit strange to the foreign eye, and sometimes they seem weird even for us. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In case you're new here, hi, I'm Anna and I usually make videos about the literature and gaming related topics of Central and Eastern Europe because I feel like there's not enough content about it online. So if you're into that, please consider subscribing. But today's video is gonna be a little bit different. You see, I'm a Transylvanian villager and possibly the only person who unironically enjoys living in Romania, despite my mixed Hungarian origins. And to honor my beloved country, I will tell you about some of the strangest traditions that exist over here. But before that, let me quickly explain which country I'm actually talking about, for those of you who think that writing the month at the beginning of the date is the same way of doing things. Romania is a country of 19.2 million people located in the southeastern side of Europe, and our people blessed you with the invention of the quadcopter, papanash, and the world's best genre of music, manele. You're welcome. The country's most common tourist injuries and deaths occur due to the people trying to take selfies with our wild bears, so please, for the love of the Dumnezeu, stay away from them. Also, Romania is known as a highly religious country with 81% of the population living by the traditions of Christian Orthodoxy. But many of our customs are actually a strange mixture of Romania's pre-Christian pagan practices and the basic Orthodox celebrations.
Iară și iară cu pace Domnului să ne rugăm. Doamne
A very good example for that would be the celebration called Bobotiaza, which is a Christian holiday celebrated on the 6th of January, commemorating the baptism of Jesus Christ. In Romania, the celebration of this holiday got mixed up with the pre-Christian traditions related to fertility and honoring the ability of fire and water to purify the world from evil spirits. And so, on this day, people follow both the Christian and the pagan traditions. You see, similarly to Serbia and other Orthodox countries, in Romania's riverside villages, the priest throws a cross into the river and young men have to jump into the water to fetch it. But women celebrate it in a different way. Many people believe that if an unmarried woman puts a small twig or leaves of basil under her pillow on the night of Bobotiaza, she will dream of her future husband. And this belief dates back to pre-Christian times. Romanian celebrations fall into two categories. There are the ones related to the time of the year and the ones related to the major events in people's lives. And while some of them are pretty similar to the surrounding Slavic countries' traditions, such as Noaptea de Sânziene, which is comparable to the old Slavic celebration of Ivana Kupala, you can find some pretty strange ones in various villages all around the country. Strangely enough, most of these are related to death, which just proves the validity of the country's happiness index. Disclaimer: each cultural region in Romania has their own set of beliefs and traditions, and most of the things I will talk about do not apply to the entire country, but many regions have similar yet quite different versions of these traditions. Culture, death isn't seen as the end, but as a journey to the afterlife, which is why there are quite a few rituals which exist to help the deceased cross to the other world. In most regions of the country, there's a 3-day time period when the catafalque is set up in the prettiest room of the house, where the deceased's friends and family can say their proper goodbyes. In this time period, all mirrors of the house must be covered, turned around, or taken off the walls. Some say this is because if the dead sees themselves in the mirror, they won't be able to cross to the afterlife and they will be stuck between life and death for eternity. I mean, living in the Balkans already feels like being stuck between life and death for eternity. Others say it's because the reflection of the dead might attract death to take another life. In some villages they use a simple black cloth, in some places they use white ones, but in my village we use this type of black and white embroidered towels.
Excuse me. I noticed that there's a funeral procession where you guys, where I guess in that region, they walk. I don't know if they were walking from the church to the cemetery or to from the mortuary to the church. But it's tradition on my island to walk from the mortuary to the church. Now, a hearse carries the boss, and you walk behind the hearse. You have a procession. And then after the service and stuff at the Catholic Church, it's a short walk up to the cemetery. And I mean, there's no point in getting into a car there, because it's just like a 2 minute walk. Maybe 5 minutes if they're going slow. The last funeral I went to was my grandfather's. And I remember the procession started at the mortuary, which was down right next to the natural harbor. I saw a lot of pictures of it on there. And then we walk up the hill to the church. The hearse was in the front. And then, they carried the coffin into the church, and they had the church ceremony or mass or whatever, and then back out into the hearse, and then they walked to the cemetery. So I remember that vividly because one of my uncles was laying on the hearse crying, I remember. But I don't think I ever knew who that uncle was. It was the kind of an uncle that we didn't see much, so I don't remember him very well. Let's keep going here.
In villages all across Romania, you might see villagers throwing a rooster across a freshly dug grave. Some say this is done because roosters can chase away the evil spirits. But according to ethnographers, this tradition dates back to ghetto Dacian times when people used to bring animals as offerings for the family of the deceased. This was the case in my village as well. Chickens, roosters, ducks, and geese were pretty common gifts for the families of the deceased. But nowadays, people only give money to help out with the costs of the funeral ceremony. But the good people of Gorj County take this one step further. If the deceased was a bad person, they will pass around a black chicken over the dead body to make sure they won't turn into a moloi, which is a vampire-like creature in Romanian mythology. Hey, why did the rooster cross the grave? To make sure you get to the other side.
That didn't make no sense at all.
In Romanian culture, the first bath after a child's baptism is considered to be a sacred event.
Where's the money, Lebowski? You want that money, Lebowski?
Which is why the child's first bath is prepared with the strangest ingredients. According to traditions, on the day after a child's baptism, the godmother has to prepare the bath in a smaller tub with honey, money, and a few drops of holy water. Some people even add some basil, silver rose petals, and many other ingredients. People believe that through this ritual, the child will grow up to become brave, honest, and a rich person. But let's be realistic, no amount of holy water can make you rich in the Balkans.
We did it the Catholic way. I think the priest just pour water over the baby's head. There's no dipping, as far as I know. It was just pouring holy water over the baby's head. I went to my son, not my sons, but my first nephews, and I think that's what they did. It's been a while since I've been in a Catholic church. It's been decades since I've been in a Catholic church. It's just too different here.
One of the most beloved traditions in Romania is to break a bread-like cake above the bride's head. This is supposed to bring luck to the young couple and everyone else who takes a bite out of it. This is actually done after the bride is all dressed up and ready for the wedding. The bride must sit in a chair and two people must hold and break the cake above her head. Some girls even collect the crumbs at weddings and keep them underneath their pillows, which is supposed to bring them luck in their love life. So if any of you are planning to get married these days, please send me some of those crumbs. This tradition actually dates back to ancient Rome, where they also broke bread above the bride's head. And later on in medieval Europe, this tradition has developed into making a multi-layered cake above which the newlyweds could kiss. But I'm honestly glad that we kept the original one. We talked about that, we talked about christening and weddings, now let's switch to the traditions related to the time of the year. Easter in some Romanian villages is like a good bottle of țuica. Most women absolutely hate it because of the smell, but men are super into it. You see, in some Romanian villages on the second day of Easter, a group of men get together to water every woman in the village in order to stop them from withering. In a more normal environment, this is done by throwing a bucket full of water onto the young lady. In other places, however, men spray women with the cheapest perfumes they can get their hands on, which turns this event into pure torture for us. To show our gratitude, we are supposed to serve the visitors drinks, snacks, and give them colored eggs as a gift. And if you live at the end of the village, by the time the guys reach your house, all of them will be completely drunk, which makes this whole event even more unbearable. This tradition was borrowed from the Hungarians of Transylvania, and it's spread across Bukovina and Banat as well. But its origins can be traced back to the Polish Śmigus Dingus Day, related to the pre-Christian celebration of the March equinox, when boys threw water at girls and spanked them with pussy willow branches.
I heard of that tradition before. I don't know if I reacted to something about it or read it about somewhere where there's a tradition of women getting spanked with a certain tree branch or something like that. We don't have anything like that, or maybe we do and I just never really heard of it. Maybe it is done up in the countryside where I'm from on the island. I was considered a city boy. Of course, it's nothing like these cities here. It's still like a country. That was like a country. There was very few buildings or anything there. But you all have a whole lot of, but you see, then again, there's all these different cultures and countries around here there. So of course there's going to be a lot of old wives' folk tales, because people were going backward and forward all these centuries, you know what I'm saying?
In the eastern side of Romania and in Moldova, on the 8th day after Easter, people organize a little picnic at the cemetery in the memory of their loved ones. This is called Paștele Blajinilor or Paștele Morții, which is roughly translated as the Easter of the Dead. On this day, women have to lay down a towel or blanket on the graves, light a few candles, and prepare a feast which mostly consists of this type of food. And of course, a few red Easter eggs. The priest must go from grave to grave and bless the food of each family and offer some food for kids, relatives, friends, and most importantly, the people in need. Though, let's be real, in Romania, everyone is in need.
I have no money!
It is important to note that this isn't just an excuse to have a party at the cemetery, this is the holiday of generosity. According to superstitions, on this day you are not allowed to do the laundry, beat a rug, no, that's not an innuendo, or do any sort of house or garden work which might produce loud noises. You are also not allowed to badmouth anyone who is dead, even if you were at bad terms with them, because malicious gossip might attract their spirit to return and hurt your loved ones.
We sort of kind of have one like that, but without the added layers. All Saints Night, 1st of November, you go to the cemetery and you light candles on the graves of those that had passed on. We used to do it all the time on my grandfather's grave.
Ziva Kuchidor, similar to the Bulgarian Kukeri Fest, is another spring celebration when young men dressed up in colorful masks and costumes walk through the streets and playfully beat up everyone who gets in their way with some DIY whips. They also have to hit their friends and loved ones in order to give them some good luck. This celebration was banned during the communist era, and it was reignited in the recent years. Nowadays, it's mainly celebrated in Brănești, which is in Ilfov County, but not only the locals take part in this celebration. You can see participants from Domnești, Pecești, Gălda de Jos, Kavnik, Peunești, and people from some parts of Bulgaria. These costumes are ridiculously heavy and they are decorated with fresh flowers and bells, and according to tradition, the clothes they wear must be the dresses of the girls they are in love with. This celebration also has some pre-Christian origins and it's related to rebirth and fertility. The goat dance is low-key my favorite Romanian tradition, and I'm still pissed about the fact that in my village we do not celebrate this. Goat dance also known as capra, is a Romanian dance performed around New Year's Eve. For this occasion, young men dress up as goats, wearing goat masks, horns, and sheepskin coats, or in some cases colorful rugs, and they go from house to house to perform the dance at each door. During the 19th century, Romanians believed that goats could predict the New Year's weather, and the capra dance, considered a pagan dance, became a ritual to bring fertility, becoming a prominent part of folk tradition. I guess we could agree that this is our horniest tradition. Now, as you can see, Romanian folklore and traditions are quite wicked, dark, and honestly charming, and I think this aesthetic could serve as a great inspiration for a Witcher-like video game. But enough about my opinions. What strange traditions exist in your country? Tell me in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you're interested in topics related to Central and Eastern.
Okay. Now, yeah, comment down below. Tell me of strange traditional stuff that you have heard of, that like your grandparents may have told you or great grandparents may have told you. Comment down below and let me know. I wasn't around my grandparents a whole lot. I never knew my dad's parents. And both my mom's parents died when I was like really young, 8, 9. So I never had to sit down conversations with them to learn anything. I did have sit down conversations with some of the old people in the village, but you could tell a lot of the stuff they're talking was, old wives' tales. It wasn't, it wasn't like based on some kind of historic. There wasn't any historical evidence of what they were talking about. They were just talking and telling stories and stuff like that. A lot of the superstitious stuff that we have on the island derives from voodoo, or we call it obia. Like when you're going to your house, walk backwards so that the spirits wouldn't follow you. Plant aloes in every corner of your house. That keeps out evil spirits. You know what I mean? There's some stuff that's that I've heard about. You know what I mean? But by the time I came along, we were pretty much educated enough to know it was, I was always interested in it, but nobody really ever talked about it. Not much. Like I said, a lot of it was just stuff people make up to tell stories. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment down below. If you see something that you don't think is correct or you don't, whatever, comment down below. Just don't say this is wrong. Tell us why it's wrong, because there's people that's trying to learn about it, okay? In the meantime, y'all take care of each other. Let's try to bring some peace in this world, okay?